may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Good morning, boys. How is it going, everyone? Welcome to the Astrolabe. Hopefully you guys have gone over to beta.ewbsx.com and created at least just created a free account and started poking around just a little bit. If you have not, you should go do that. Those of you who were here for the pre-show got to see a little peek at it, see how the things are going over there. Betas for beta testing. That's right. We're calling all betas. If you identify as a beta and you would like to come beta test some stuff with us, then beta.ewbsx.com. What's up, First Citizen? Good to see you, man. Oh, what do we got here today? This is going to be a little bit of a shorter show because Gaga is heading home tomorrow, and we're going out for lunch this afternoon to celebrate Eastwood finishing kindergarten and having his losing his first tooth. If you guys were here for the Pseudolabe on Sunday, he came running in and announced it to the world. We went from loose tooth to lost tooth in the space of like a week or less. I don't know. Maybe it was a little longer than that. I can't keep track of time. But very exciting moment for him. The Tooth Fairy showed up and left him. Last time she came, she left Amy a note. This time she left Eastwood a note. And $20. This is what we call Gaga inflation. When Gaga is in the house, the lost tooth values are inflated. So he's very, very happy. Added that to the piggy bank. And yeah, had a good weekend. How about you guys? Didn't get a show in yesterday because by the time I was able to, it was going to be in the evening, and I figured it'd be better to get one done earlier today and just try to keep it approximately like that. Today, what are we going to talk about? You know the phrase about weak men and hard times and strong men and so on. Well, we're seeing every day just what it looks like when weak men suffer from the hard times that were created by their weakness. And they're struggling to accept their responsibility, their role in not just the creation of those hard times, but what they are obligated to do to exit the hard times, the hard things that they need to do. And instead, they're going all soft. We don't need any more soft men. We don't need the weakness. We need hard. We got to get hard. My president makes me hard. We are hard here at the Lave. That's right. That's all you're going to get here at the Lave. You're going to get nothing but hardness. Do me a favor and please support the show, folks. Go to tips.kingpill.com and pay for your white pills. I bring them to you, and I do. It's called we do a little value for value. I provide as much value as I can based on what I'm seeing out in the commentary space, and you in return give me money, and we call this a fair trade. The marketplace of ideas, you might say. You guys are participating in the marketplace of ideas. I bring the ideas, and you give me money for them. And of course, all of my best ideas I take from you guys. So you're just you're paying to have your great ideas reflected back to you. Thank you, Barnden, for the 5 gifted subs. The audio isn't going to come through because I haven't shared the screen yet. I'm going to do that in just a moment. But Barnden with the 5 gifted subs. Homeless Nomad, well below average, First Citizen, Diesel, and Raymond Harmon. 5 for 5. Patriots. Nailed. See? My president makes me hard, and the Patriots are getting nailed in the Lave chat today. Thank you, Barnden. I appreciate you, man. Obviously, it did not appropriately add it to the total. I see what it did. That's funny. I'll update that. And then let's see here. Let me share the screen so you guys can hear the alerts when they come through. We had a couple that came in during the pre-show. First one from Jeff.
If you don't tip the streamer, you're a light in the loafer's homosexual. That's right, a big gay couch. The only action you'll see if from my vice president. Pay up, homos.
What he said. What he said. You don't want to get caught couch surfing with JD Vance. The vice president is gonna come for you. No homosexuals. You must tip the streamer, tips.kingpill.com. And you know who's not a homosexual? Jeff!
White pilled and patriot pilled. I'm out grinding, so number replay gang.
Number replay gang, yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I just noticed. I don't know if this has always been that case, but it almost sounds like Dale is taking breaths between words. It's getting crazy how good they are with these AI voices. I just had the same one and I haven't updated it, so I don't know if they're able to like in real time like improve the model or something, or maybe I just haven't noticed that before. Wit says to check Venmo. Patriot Sir, Patriot Wit. What do we got on Venmo? Another $14.88. White pill prescription fee. Thank you, sir. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you. If you guys don't want to mess around with the tips link, you can, as Wit did, go to just use King Pilled on Venmo or Cash App. And that's another way of getting the moolah as close to directly in my pocket as you possibly can. It is the start of a new month. Is it August? Man, it is August. That's crazy. It is the start of a new month. So that means that you need to go back over to form.kingpill.com and enter your name again. If we do hit the tip goal on the stream today, it's going to be a short stream, so you guys got to get your tips in early. If we hit the tip goal, then someone will win 10% to the big guy who wins. I will be delivering it to you in the form of a digital gift card to a retailer of your choice. No purchase necessary. All you have to do is just give me something to call you and a way to contact you. And the place to do that is forum.kingpill.com. And because it is the start of the month, that means that officially my income starts over again. And it is a great big question as to what my income will be this month. We depend upon your guys' generosity, and I do everything I can to flog my timeline to produce entertaining, educational, edifying, uplifting, patriot-pilling content. Well below average is pretty soon pumpkin spice will be upon us. Oh, all hail pumpkin spice season. Man, autumn has always been my favorite time of the year, no matter where I've lived. And I've lived in a lot of different climates. Autumn is consistently the best. The vibes are the best. I am a big fan, big fan of all the different accoutrements associated. You know, the Ugg boots and the pumpkin spice, the scarves, the crunchy leaves, all those sorts of things. The weather is just primo that time of year. You can get nice warm days sometimes, and then nice brisk nights, and it's a great balance between the two. And this living in Texas makes I'm desperate. I am craving fall. I got up early this morning and went outside to do a little patriot praying and thinking, and man, it was 80 degrees. It was dark, still completely dark. It was like 3 o'clock this morning. 80 degrees, totally flat, no breeze, nothing, completely still, and like 90% humidity. Bugs out like crazy, and I was beside myself. I was having a hard time, guys. It was very difficult. You must feel sorry for me. So I'm looking forward to the fall. I'm looking forward to cooler temperatures. You know, I don't mind the heat during the day necessarily, because the humidity drops off quite a bit the higher it goes. And lately we've been hovering around 100 every day. So, you know, so the humidity is getting down to like the 40-50% range, which is a lot more tolerable. Slosher!
He who controls the pumpkin spice controls the white girls.
So true. Incredibly true. We must seize the pumpkin spice, boys. We must control the means of the pumpkin spice. That is how the powerful political force known as white women, that is how they are moved. The Hoteps always called them the Maws, middle-aged white women. They're like, this is the most important political demographic. The entire world revolves around the Maws, the middle-aged white women. So true, so true. And I watch here in real time as everything that is working just fine and dandy suddenly decides that it is not going to work. I've said that here we go. Chud delivery guy.
Catching a live lab today, so I better pay up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the $29. Good to get you guys, some of you replay gang guys here live. See, this is one of the secret reasons why the show starts at all sorts of different times of day, because it ensures that everyone gets to be part of the replay gang and part of the live chat, and we just even it out for everyone. I actually really enjoy the hot days. It would just be it's that they aren't offset by cool nights. So if you get the hot days and then the cool nights like you get in the desert, then it's great. You get the best of both worlds. So you do the lobster routine during the day, and then you recover at night, and it's nice and pleasant, relaxing, maybe even like touches on hoodie weather occasionally. And that is the best. That is the climate that I was made for. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was like, you know, I'm overwhelmingly English, Irish, and various forms of Scandinavian, but I was just made for the climate of the Mediterranean or something. I don't know. Yeah, 89 to 93 degrees at night sucks. Yeah, just like if something is it's just wrong. It's just not right. It's not right to walk outside and have it be dark and hot at the same time. These just don't compute. For whatever reason, having it be bright and sunny and cold there's nothing wrong with that. But when it's dark and hot, it feels like, my wife put it the best, it feels like you're walking around inside someone's mouth. And that's just like bouncing off of tonsils and stuff. And that is not the way to live. Living Dead says, jacket in the morning, shorts in the afternoon, and hoodie at night is the best 3 days of the year in Michigan. Yeah, that's Washington as well. That's how I grew up, the Seattle area. That's Seattle from like July to November is basically that. And it's glorious. Anyways, so it's so over. I did a quote tweet of this particular tweet, and I removed you guys can find this easily enough. But I'm not interested in flame wars really, and this is just the thing about this take here is that there is nothing unique or this isn't original content. This isn't something that is worth being credited to a particular person. This is just slop. This serves no purpose whatsoever. This is just publicly emoting. And I actually like the guy who tweeted this. We've been on again, off again mutuals for probably a decade. Never talked to him. He doesn't know who I am. But I like him. And I've said before that he's nothing but total bangers and total coal. Like there's no in between. And this here is the total coal. But it's not just him. There's so many who are tweeting this impotent shit. And it just, like, this sounds like a diary entry. Does it not? Like, if you went and found somebody's diary and you're, like, thumbing through it as they're writing their own private thoughts to each other. Republican voters are checked out. Forget young men. Those are gone. 2024 is squandered. Even otherwise likely to vote people are nowhere to be found. This is a diary entry. And yet it's like he's like you have to be willing to recognize the truth of the facts on the ground or something. The truth of the facts on the ground is that you tweet like a faggot. There is no utility in this. It's not like this is providing some sort of unique observation, unique insight, an action plan, you can't even say this is like a warning. Like this could be a text message. And maybe, he's already sent the text message and they're not listening. So he's just gonna like post it on the internet. For what? And I don't think that this is just, I know it's easy to say, it's just engagement bait or it's a calculated attempt to intentionally demoralize. And I don't think either of those things are true. I don't think he can just be hand-waved like that. I think this is there is a virus of the mind running amok, and it's taking down well-intentioned people. See, I think it's letting them off the hook. If you say this is it's just like engagement baiting or whatever. No, he's just trying to make money or something. He's not doing this just to get engagements. He's tweeting this because he believes it. And he's looking for some sort of some sort of stimulation. And I do believe that in some weird twisted way, the guys who are constantly talking like this are like, they think that they're helping. But all they're doing is just impotence signaling. There is no upside to this. It doesn't serve any purpose. The only thing that it does is it demoralizes. And, I'll make a distinction here between the average person. Like, not all people are equal. Not all posters are equal. The random reply guy is a different thing altogether than a guy with 1.5 million followers, or even a guy with 50,000 followers. It doesn't, like, the number of followers doesn't make that big of a difference beyond a certain
entire
threshold.
political spectrum is about to move to the right for a generation, and these guys are blackpilling. Pathetic.
Yes, Column Rush. This is at this point, it has to be like a calculated attempt to be out of touch with the world around you. Out of touch with the actual things that matter, the actual things that are happening. But the thought that's been clanging around inside my head since I saw this yesterday is, where have our tastemakers gone? My kingdom for a tastemaker. These sorts of people, they post these kinds of like based right-wing red pill. I
kept trying to
OG
move
mega.
away from it, but I eventually just gave in. I remember tears coming down my face a little when I vaguely realized what I was doing. It had this weird chemically salty taste.
There it is. Apparently the alerts, the components of the alert came in out of order. And that was just, to have that drop right when I started talking about taste making is, see, I was going to conspicuously try to avoid bringing up the pennies, because I don't like thinking about that. And like on a real note, like, yeah, I don't think that, I don't know, maybe I'm too much of a softie. Maybe this is Matt is a secret lib confirmed. I don't think that those things necessarily need to follow someone for the rest of their lives. Like, I want to leave the door open for people to come to Jesus, literally or metaphorically. And, and I appreciate a lot of, I don't, it's gross, man. That's really, really gross. Far be it from me to come on the internet and stand in judgment of another man. But holy crap, I can't imagine having something like that exist out in the ether. Just having that there for the rest of all time and continuing to talk about things in public. I don't know how I would delete every reference that I'd ever existed. I would go into hiding. I would be harvesting turnips in a lean-to by a remote river somewhere for the rest of my life. If you don't know what the pennies is a reference to, just leave it. Just leave that alone. Just leave that alone. Yeah, you guys can stand in judgment for me. Tucker, Joe Kent, MTG, Massey, and Megyn Kelly will be the new left by 2028, says Colin Rosh. Yeah, well, and that's listen to that. Imagine that. Imagine if the left in America looked like Tucker, Joe Kent, MTG, Massey, and Megyn Kelly. Like, objectively speaking, that is a phenomenal improvement. That is a clear move in the right direction. As galling as that thought is, I think you should be able to step back from that and be like, yeah, this is a positive thing overall. Homeless Nomad says there'll be Ross Perot and the left will be 100% DSA communists. Well, there will still continue to be the actual DSA communists, but like the maybe the establishment left, you might say, the institutional left is going to be a really odd amalgamation of the retard right and the left today. Like, the people who are going to get just run over and thrown out of town are the old school neo-libs, the old school neoconservatives. Like, they're the ones who are the dying breed. And we're going through a legitimate political alignment right now. And frankly, it exists a lot around Israel. And I've got something about that later that we'll talk about. Yeah, let's go through this, because there's a couple other things I wanted to touch on as well regarding the Anthony Fauci hearings and him pleading the fifth 111 times, 111. What did he mean by this? First of all, I need to say that I must repent. I did not fully appreciate Blake Bortles during his career. And I actually followed the Jaguars pretty closely throughout the when he was drafted and his years with the team. And I didn't appreciate what was in front of me while it was there. But now, in retrospect, Blake Bortles is a top-tier Patriot.
First thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Usually just pissed.
What would you do if you weren't playing football?
If I wasn't playing football, working construction, ripping cigs.
Do you know how much money you made?
Do you know?
It says 47 million.
Sounds right, man. That's awesome. Yeah, dude. Suck it, nerds.
Josie's on a vacation far away.
Suck it, nerds. I was trying to clip that out to have that as just a drop by itself. Just suck it, nerds. And it's hard because to get it to sound right at the beginning with the music and other sound that's playing, it's hard. So I haven't completed that yet, but that is going on the soundboard. Suck it, nerds. Doesn't even know how much he made. Yeah, 47 million. What did he mean by this? They got rid of him because he spoke the truth. So true. So true. Work in construction, ripping cigs. Just pure, unadulterated chud mastery. Witt says, speaking of QBs, you guys see my guy Aaron Rodgers, BTFO Fauci on Pat McAfee's show. You know, it's funny that you say that, because the next tab that I had here is this one of Aaron Rodgers, BTFOing Tony Fauci on the Pat McAfee show. Now, you got to realize, the Pat McAfee show has an enormous audience. This is, you want to talk about the FanDuel Americans, the Just Wanna Grill sports bros, the sports ball Americans? Yeah. This is the Pat McAfee show is for them. And I just want you to, if you can, remember the long ago, far away land of 2022 America, 2021, 2022 America, 4 or 5 years. Remember the thought police campaigns, the people legitimately being sent to prison or fired from their jobs or experiencing some big social consequences because they dared question anything about COVID? There's people today who still use like special fancy language and stuff to get around, like they'll say, clot shot or jab or something like that. All these different euphemisms emerged so that people could keep talking around this issue. And see what happened is people just talked around this issue until it just inevitably just burst forth. All the efforts at censorship were just, this is just the Streisand effect over and over and over again. Them trying to censor it sparked the effort to start talking around it, because human beings are very creative in the way that we communicate. We just come up with euphemisms. You can't ban all of the euphemisms. We'll just come up with another one. And then a number of important people put their money where their mouth was, at great personal risk to themselves, and broke through that entire apparatus. Obviously, Elon Musk buying X was a huge part of this. A huge, huge part. And now, just 4, 5-ish years later, we have on ESPN's most popular show, biggest platform, one of the biggest platforms of professional sports, we've got Aaron Rodgers taking a victory lap.
Over the years of the past.
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Gotta love that guy.
Like that absolute coward, Tony Fauci. Absolute coward.
Yeah.
Aaron's back,
Are
baby.
you kidding me?
Yeah. 111
You got a
times.
pardon and you're in front and you pleaded over 100 times
Yeah.
at the White House. What are you scared of, Tony?
Yeah.
I thought you were the science.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were I am science, and you get up there and you can't answer a question.
Yeah.
What are we
it,
doing?
baby.
And how much time did the network spend at that? How much time did they spend on my responses every week, on my vaccination status, on Taylor and Travis's wedding?
Yeah!
Did they do?
He's just blowing fire. Imagine feeling this gratified. Going through all the shit that he went through about all of this, all of the hate mail, all of the people saying just unfathomably awful things about the dude. And he comes out the backside of it. He's giggity. He's still playing. He's still there. He's gone through some egregious injuries. He's still going. You might question just how much he's still going, but he's still there. And now he gets to sit up here and just dunk his nuts on their face.
Did they do even a minute? Did they do even a minute on Tony Fauci?
No, I don't think I've heard
Nah,
anything.
I bet they didn't.
But on that note,
Then there was another scandal this offseason, too, involving a voter for MVP, for Coach of the Year. How much time did your network spend? Where's your
Whoa!
Did your network spend on
our
that?
network.
I wish I
How much time did you
Go back
spend?
to Fauci. I wish
How
I
much
could
time?
Fauci. This is awesome. Go back.
So he starts turning on the network directly while he's there, and all the other guys are like, get off that subject, go back to Fauci. It's okay. It's okay to go after Fauci now. The man who, they had patron saint candles being made out of him. This is his punishment. This is far worse than anything that you could make him a martyr by sending him to prison. This is far worse. Turning him into a laughingstock. Obliterating, this is all he cared about was his legacy. He was obsessed with his own celebrity. So turning him into a laughingstock, dragging his whole record through the mud, publicly mocking him, completely and thoroughly discrediting him, leaving him as an asterisk on history. That's the worst possible thing that you could do to Anthony Fauci.
Go back to Fauci?
Yeah.
Go back to the coward Tony Fauci and his science?
Hold on now.
Who's
Eric.
spending the entire time writing in his diary about how fun it is to be famous? You got to be kidding me.
Okay, so on that note,
What are you going to say about me now?
Oh, yeah. Also, Witt says he just reunited with his family, too. What a month of wins for him. Now, Aaron Rodgers has been notoriously estranged from his family for a very long time. And just in the last month, they've been reuniting. I haven't followed the story like closely. I don't know any of the details about it, but I just saw the headlines and the pictures of it. And
White males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males way up.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now,
Debate him,
what are you going to say about me
No,
now?
I got no debate here. You had a 500.
No, seriously, what are they going to say about me now? Now that you can't talk about the COVID stuff because obviously it was made, in a lab in China. That's like not even questionable anymore. Tony Fauci is an absolute criminal. I'm on good terms with my family. I'm on good terms with my family. What are you going to say now? What are you going to say now?
I want to let you know. It's been a fun ride for you, I would assume, over the last couple.
It's been a great life.
He is White Boy Summer peaking right now.
It's been a great career. And it's nice to be sitting on this side now, especially after that coward played the fifth over 100 times. I thought you had a part in there, Tony. Why couldn't you answer one question the entire time?
Okay, we got 4 minutes until the hard out.
Tikon says the quarterback bullying the creepy nerd into oblivion. The universe is back in order. So true. So true.
Yeah, I got 4 more
The
minutes.
wins are everywhere. You just got to see them.
But we can keep this shit going. We can keep it going.
Like anything else?
I got at least 4 minutes.
Okay,
There's a lot of silence, though, but I will say this: I gotta give flowers to Stephen A. Smith, my old friend Stephen A., because he was man enough to actually admit and apologize to Kyrie Irving.
Yes,
so I got to give a shout out to my guy Stephen A. You are not a coward.
I'm here to tell you right now.
I appreciate
We don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't care.
you.
Okay, can we talk about? We'll wrap up that conversation.
Other than that, there's been a lot of silence. I feel like like 19 seconds about one subject.
Pat's here just like desperately trying to manage him, and Aaron Rodgers is a wild stallion streaking across the plains, completely incorrigible.
Oh, don't talk about that. We can talk about Rex Ryan's foot fetish, but please don't talk about anything else right now. Don't talk about any scandals involved. Don't talk about pop culture. Talk about Taylor and Travis's wedding. Yeah, what do the insiders know about that? But don't talk about shit that actually has to do with our business or righting wrongs.
Can we
from the
remind
past.
people?
Just
Can
let
we
it
remind
go.
people a little bit why you're doing all this? Can we
Okay, so then there was also this one, Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for the Eagles. He opened his press conference
Vic, what's the
with this.
the plan at safety? Is that Marcus's job to lose?
I'm going to be like Fauci and just take the Fifth Amendment on questions. Did you guys see that? Yeah. Oh, my God. What was the question?
Yeah, you had that lined up.
You see how nature is healing? Now people are just like, you know what? Fuck that Fauci guy. What a clown. This is inoculation against people like Fauci. When the sports bros start stuffing the nerds back in a locker, nature is healing. These are important signals. Strong, important signals. And they're not getting any punishment or any sanctions or that whole culture is being strangled to death. The chuds now have space to come back out again and just chud out in public and get rewarded for it. Sports bros rising. That's right. Tuz McGee says cultural swirly for the dweeb. Yeah. Yeah, Patriots are not walking on eggshells anymore. Patriots are coming out. The Patriots have been hiding in the closet for so long. But you're right, Tikon, they're coming out again. This is just so much worse than any sort of criminal charges. And I mean, I think there absolutely could be, like, I think that just sweeping aside a presidential pardon like that just for simple pragmatic reasons, is probably not the best course of action. And you don't need it. That's the thing. It's not necessary. You can still entrap him in some kind of criminal charge, and so then you can use that against him. But fine. Okay, yeah, Fauci is pardoned. We can't touch him. So we're just going to utterly destroy his legacy and crush every other single person below him. Little out of order here. This is the White House website. COVID.gov. If I had showed this to you 2 years ago, You would have thought it's not possible. It may be difficult to remember that because like things can change really dramatically over the course of a couple of years, but if it takes like you might not notice the change day by day by day. The frog being boiled, it happens in the opposite direction as well. If I'd have told you that the White House website, whitehouse.gov, that if you typed in covid.gov, it would take you to whitehouse.gov/lab leak true origins of COVID-19. Just the mere fact that Donald Trump is on it probably would have been difficult to imagine. The true origins of COVID-19. This is on the federal government, a federal government website. The proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 publication, which was used repeatedly by public health officials in the media to discredit the lab leak theory, was prompted by Dr. Fauci to push the preferred narrative that COVID-19 originated naturally. 1. The virus possesses a biological characteristic that is not found in nature. 2. Data shows that all COVID-19 cases stem from a single introduction into humans. This runs contrary to previous pandemics where there were multiple spillover events. 3. Wuhan is home to China's foremost SARS research lab, which has a history of conducting gain-of-function research, gene altering and organism supercharging at inadequate biosafety levels. 4. Wuhan Institute of Virology researchers were sick with COVID-like symptoms in the fall of 2019, months before COVID-19 was discovered at the wet market. 5. By nearly all measures of science, there was evidence of a natural origin. It would have already surfaced, but it hasn't. They got the map showing the proximity here. You got the House Oversight Report. NIH failures. The auto-pin pardon by Biden for Fauci. They've got a section here on HHS obstruction. The Biden administration's HHS engaged in a multi-year campaign of delay, confusion, and non-responsiveness in an attempt to obstruct the Select Subcommittee's investigation and hide evidence that could incriminate or embarrass senior public health officials. It appears that HHS even intentionally under-resourced its component that responds to legislative oversight requests. Oh, sorry, we don't have the personnel. EcoHealth obstruction. Peter Daszak being thrown under the bus here. Dr. David Morens, Dr. Fauci's senior advisor, deliberately obstructed the Select Subcommittee's investigation, likely lied to Congress on multiple occasions. Unlawfully deleted federal COVID-19 records and shared non-public information about NIH grant processes with EcoHealth president Dr. Peter Daszak. The New York obstruction. World Health Organization. Social distancing, mask mandates, lockdowns. Under lockdowns, it says, prolonged lockdowns caused immeasurable harm to not only the American economy, but also to the mental and physical health of Americans, with a particularly negative effect on younger citizens. Rather than prioritizing the protection of the most vulnerable populations, federal and state government policies forced millions of Americans to forego crucial elements of a healthy and financially sound life. How can you say nothing is happening? This is on the White House website, is explicitly saying lockdowns killed millions. This was unthinkable. Here's RFK. That dude worked the system like a genius. Look what he's gotten out of this. Total, what's the term? Validation.
You are the HHS secretary, and you are talking about things that lead to vaccine hesitancy in this country, and it is something that causes problems for people when there is not anything.
Let me ask you something. Do you see your job as ending vaccine hesitancy, or do you see your job as telling the truth to the American people?
I see my job as telling the truth, and the truth is
just cutting straight to the chase here. Do you see your job as what you claim it is? Or are you literally just a pharma saleswoman?
Is that there is study after study after study. It's one of the most studied things out there in science.
You're repeating
and it
it
is
like a parrot. You're repeating
So are
it
you.
like a parrot.
So
I've actually read the science. Let's use
Notice this isn't her completely commanding the frame and bludgeoning him into acquiescence. No, this is her kind of frantic and stuttering and mumbling and trying to get her words, and she is clearly on the back foot.
You don't want to. You don't want to here and debate this.
So I'm not debating this with you.
Of course you won't.
No, because I'm not debating.
All you know how to do is repeat things that people told you and say, trust the experts. That's what you did during COVID. Now we know that.
All you know how to do is just repeat things other people have told you. You are nothing.
Anthony Fauci, who was the expert, was lying about everything, about masks, about social distancing, about natural immunity, about the transmission from the vaccine.
Patriot, go off moment.
He was lying, and you were punishing people for not trusting the experts. And now you're rolling out the experts again to talk about something that you have no personal knowledge of.
Okay, well, guess what? That is my job, to talk to people.
Your job is to tell the truth to the American public.
Yes, and my job is to get as much information as I can.
And
what we were doing,
skepticism.
What we were doing in COVID and still, with regard to these vaccines, is getting the best information, the best science that we can, and putting it out there. And sir,
he's like, you dumb bitch. The look on his face.
The best science that we can and putting it out there.
He's like, can I make your head explode by staring at it hard enough? The absolute gall of this hag.
And sir, what you are doing is causing information to be out there that is not accurate.
Who was lying to you?
National.
You know, the natural cynic's response to this sort of thing, they'll be like, oh, well, just the next administration could just put something different up there and all of this would be lost. Yes. Congratulations. Congratulations on having, I don't know, a first grader's understanding of politics. Thank you for declaring the very obvious thing. So then, are you capable of thinking through cause and effect here? So if that's the case, then perhaps it's prudent to ensure that that doesn't happen. Not to divert into all of this oh, well, Republicans bad too. You're not special because you can parrot generic 2014 libertarian lines. You're not the smart guy in the room. You're a fucking retard. There's no difference between the parties, bro. It's one big uniparty, man. I really wonder, I've seen Sean Ryan's talking about oh, he did psychedelics and rotted his brain and and I was thinking about him and some of these other commentators. I wonder to what extent that to what extent psychedelics has played a role in just the mass pruning out of the ostensible online right. They just got one-shotted by shrooms or something, and they're, I don't know, it's just so weird watching smart people. I mean, as we're talking about COVID here, watching smart people just completely forsake basic obvious truths. And you watch these meme plexes spin up where a lot of people start believing it simply because a lot of people believe it. So they're engaged in this process of consensus formation, abstracting away from reality and just repeating the same thing to each other over and over and over again to form this consensus that they then become convinced is true because they've repeated it to each other enough. And then you say, see that thing that you're doing? You can take that consensus forming thing and point it in any direction you want. And it will become true because you do it. But you're choosing to take that power that you have to stand here and just repeat things ad nauseum until they become true. And you're choosing to direct that straight towards shooting off your own cock. And I guess it would just be pathetic if they weren't so arrogant and condescending about it. There was this little segment from Fauci's hearing where he talked with where Senator Bernie Moreno was questioning him and testing the limits of his "I'm just going to plead the fifth." Like, the fact that you have a presidential pardon already, you were given a presidential pardon, and you're going to refuse to give answers that would be incriminating when you can't be incriminated.
RFK is GTFKY, you stupid evil bitch.
So true, T-Con. Yes, we have unleashed our autistic raccoon penis appreciator. Percusses the Clown says ketamine increases both neuroplasticity, too much makes you erratic, and egocentrism, which is hugely popular in Silicon Valley right now. Explains a lot about Elon and Curtis Yarvin. With some of the other guys, it's probably mushrooms or LSD. Yeah, ketamine that's very interesting. Because I know that's become very popular in such circles, and I think you'd probably be maybe it's become more obvious now, but you might be surprised how much overlap there is between the Silicon Valley circles and the online right posters, for better or for worse. So here's Bernie Moreno talking to Anthony Fauci. You saw the public, the rhetorical public caning that he's getting on the Sports Bros platform. Here's what he's getting in Congress.
Mr. Fauci, do you know who David Schertler is?
Oops. See, that's how I listen to things.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. What does the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution say?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
No, I'm just asking you what it says.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer.
Think about the situation you have to be in where you're forced into a position where you're doing something absurd, like invoking the Fifth Amendment to prevent self-incrimination for actions that were taken during a period in which you have a presidential pardon. Now, obviously, he's, part of this would be like trying to avoid a perjury trap. But the fact that he would do something this absurd, just making an absolute mockery of the entire system, publicly, lighting himself on fire. This is like the political equivalent of Aaron Bushnell. Just lighting himself on fire in public because he cannot willingly acknowledge how disgraceful he is. He has no defense for what a disgrace he is, so he's forced to publicly undress himself while trying not to make eye contact and pretending it's not happening.
Answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
I'm going to give the Constitution to my aide. He'll bring it over to you so you can have it for future reference. I think it's something that every American should know what the Constitution says. Do you know who wrote the Fifth Amendment?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
So you're invoking a right that you don't know who wrote it or what it says. Is that correct?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the
It's like an SNL skit.
Constitution.
Wow. All right, let me tell you who David Schertler is for the audience because he was ejected by the chairman. He's a high-profile criminal attorney. He's represented some really great people, like Senator Bob Menendez. Maybe that's somebody who my Democrat colleagues may remember took gold bars as bribes from the Egyptians. And there's an article here in the Washington Free Beacon that talks about why you would hire a guy like David Schertler. And the comment is, if you're in deep shit, that's who you call. Do you feel like you're in deep shit?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
That's a yes. Tikon says, look at me. We're running the humiliation rituals now. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You think Tony Fauci wants to be pulled up here and have to sit here and be dragged through this? Lighting his own career on fire? You think he's doing this because they're like the masters running the show and then dealing with this sort of like temporary little irritation that is the Trump administration, and they're just like going to get back to normal or whatever? Are you socially retarded?
Clearly, what you think today is that somehow you're above reproach. Somehow you feel like you don't need to be treated like a normal American. Can you do me a favor in the audience and stand up if during the time of the COVID pandemic, you were called a racist for calling the virus a Wuhan virus or the China virus? If you thought the 6-foot rule was total crap, if you thought the vaccine wasn't something that you should take, if you thought it was outrageous the way the mask policy was rolled out, if you were fired from your job for not taking that vaccine, including members of the military, if you thought closing schools was catastrophically stupid, and that you thought that during these times saying these things made you somehow a lesser human being. Dr. Fauci, can you just turn around and look at the people behind you? You're not willing to do that? That's not a question. It's not a question. To your lawyers, not a question. It's a request. All you have to do is look up from your lawyers and look at the people who were absolutely shamed for saying what we know now to be the truth. You can't even look at them? That's a question. Are you able to look at them? You can sit down in the audience.
Incredible. Just incredible. You know who I just... So, obviously, Laura Ingraham is sitting right here in front. But you know who else I just picked out? In the crowd back here? Can you see him? There was a little spot here. If I jump back, when the cop comes up to him. You see who that is?
These times saying these things made you somehow a lesser human being.
Of course he's there.
Dr. Fauci, can you just turn around and look at the people behind you? And look at the people.
So, yeah, then there was this one here as well. Now, this one was, Martyr Maid posted this clip, retweeted this clip, and said, well, let me play it, and then I'll tell you what he said.
To myself, I cannot stand idly on the side and watch this happen. It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that? It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people. I will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again. Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace. So let me ask you an opportunity to answer one question. Will you apologize, just apologize, to the people who you harmed through your actions? Will you say, do you have the dignity to just say you're sorry?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
So you won't apologize to the military members who Joe Biden summarily dismissed from the military for not taking the vaccine?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline
Make
to
him
answer
do
based
it!
upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Will you apologize to the business owners that lost their business, shattered their lives, and they'll never recover?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Will you apologize to the moms who had to force their infant children,
surreal.
2, 3, 4-year-olds, to put masks on, and what that did and how that traumatized those kids?
Under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Will you apologize to the family members of the people who died because they took your advice and not only got the first vaccine, but the 5, 6 other boosters that they did not need?
To answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Will you apologize to that mom from Ohio for being arrested for watching a football game with her family?
Can't even get his mic right.
Amendment to the Constitution.
Just absolute scenes, man. Just forcing him through this little performance made him die inside. Having to sit there and just take all of this, it's just devastating to his legacy. And here's the thing. If this was one of our guys, when this was one of our guys up there getting grilled by some obnoxious harpy, every single lib was running around the internet proclaiming victory, using these clips as bludgeons to demoralize our guys. Now, obviously, the media is not going to do that now. I mean, they're going to cover it because they kind of have to, but they're going to do the bare minimum. And there's a great opportunity here for our guys to use this to demoralize them. Nobody will even defend him anymore. They just be like, oh, well, you know, he just kind of was like doing his best and like, yeah, he got everything wrong, but, you know, when are our guys going to learn how to press the advantage? Oh, well, we don't already have the advantage that we haven't pressed for yet. So how are we supposed to press the advantage if we don't have the advantage that we haven't pressed for yet? Did you miss the memo? You can just do things. Just do things. Martyr Maid was like, we quote tweeted this talking about him using the no-no word. And he's like, it was something to the effect of this is like profaning Congress and like our public decorum has like gone down the tubes because of Trump. Trump did it. It's Trump's fault. Trump killed our sacred institutions. Trump made cussing cool. Like, Nick, have you ever heard of the U.S. Congress before? They used to have duels. They literally engaged in fist fights. And now you're wetting your panties over a cuss word? Losers. Soft. It's like Stockholm Syndrome or something. Straight Buster says libtard cussing equals Reddit and cringe. Our guy cussing equals cool and based. It's really that simple. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's literally that simple. When our guy does it, it's cool. When their guy does it, it's not. Because that's the standard. There are friends and there are enemies. When enemies do something, it sucks and it's bad and they're gay. When friends do something, it's awesome. Full stop. You don't need obscure political tomes. It's literally that easy. Then this was him afterwards.
Excellent. Senator Moreno, why do you suspect Fauci's pleading the fifth after testifying 200 plus times before?
Because he's a piece of shit.
So true! So incredibly true. This has nothing to do with like, oh, our decorum and stuff. No, this is just generational. This is millennials rising. Yeah, we cuss in public. Deal with it. And a well-placed F-bomb is extremely useful. If for no other reason than just because when you do that, you ensure that people are going to talk about it. So when you talk about it and you say, oh, I think that was inappropriate when he did that. Oh, that offended my sensibilities. How can I make this about me and Trump? You're literally just giving him the thing that he did it for. There's a great thread here, little short thread from Mord Stack. Said, everyone crying about COVID accountability in the middle of Fauci hearings is just driving me nuts. Fauci was the figurehead and justification for all the COVID tyranny, and the process of grilling him is a prerequisite for getting COVID accountability. How are you going to go to military brass who persecuted soldiers for COVID objections and hold them accountable when Fauci is still credited as being right in the public or official eye? You have to first deal with his lies. It's not enough to say he was wrong because it's not a crime to suck at your job. You have to prove malice and intent, which is why it takes so long. Since Fauci has a blanket pardon from Brandon's autopin, it is that much more difficult to demand accountability. In this country, you can't prosecute people for crimes they're pardoned of, and you can't use double jeopardy to prosecute someone twice for the same crime. The legal trick to overcome this challenge is congressional hearings. And all of the resentful, angry little boys who aren't getting everything they wanted fast enough want to just flip the table over. They've become revolutionaries themselves. They're just right-wing communists. They're like, oh, the thing isn't giving me exactly what I want right now, so just burn it all down and hopefully something better replaces it. No, we're not going to destroy the Constitution. We're not going to destroy the Western legal tradition. We're not going to burn the institutions down and hope something better replaces them. Grill him in the hearings and either get him to perjure himself, hold him in contempt, or admit to all the crimes he was pardoned for. If he admits it, he still goes free, but now you have justification for going after all the other malicious figures. If he perjures himself, that's a new crime he was not pardoned for. Jail. If he's held in contempt for his behavior at the hearings, that is a new crime. Jail. All the while, congressmen can read the journals on the floor and prove Fauci's malicious intent, completely discrediting the COVID regime, destroying more left power, embarrassing everyone who went along with it. The raped right just wants to say nothing is going to happen for reasons that go no deeper than wanting to emotionally vomit online. If you do nothing, then nothing happens. If you try to do something, you might succeed, and you might be limited in what you accomplish. But victory does not look like a cathartic final battle where the good guys win everything at once. All these soft men proclaiming that all is finished, that nothing is happening, that the Trump administration is a failure, that our eventual the vengeance of the libs is going to be restored upon us. They're just Marvel-brained. The only sort of victory they can conceive of is that big cathartic final battle. No, victory looks like a million incremental wins little by little. If all that happens from this is that 5% more people become convinced of COVID fraud, that is still a win. It's not a bigger win. Yes, it's a win. It's not a bigger win. Yes, it's a win. It's not a bigger win. Yes, it's a win. You know why it's not a bigger win? Because assholes like you are spending all of your time complaining that there aren't bigger wins instead of contributing to bigger wins. It's a bigger win than doing nothing. The raped right will turn around and say, we want to execute Fauci. We want life in prison for Fauci. But who cares what you want? Tell me how that is possible. If it is not possible, then we have to go with what is. Don't pee your pants because you want an outcome that's unrealistic and people on your side are seeking an outcome that is realistic. Especially when you have no realistic plan to achieve your own outcome. Literally, their only plan is always just, Trump just says a thing. Trump, why did you say the thing? Trump, say it. I need to hear you say it. I hate you. I hate you. I need you to hear say the thing. What is your plan? Arrest Fauci. Okay, then what? Then what? How does the act of arresting Fauci accumulate power to us and ensure that the good trajectory continues? This isn't an argument against arresting Fauci. It's, then what? We just have a peanut gallery who curiously is right about everything and yet always mad about everything. Like, we need our tastemakers. We don't have the tastemakers. They're too busy sticking their fingers up their own butts. The overwhelming majority of the people on the internet engaged in commentary are cattle. And we love them for it. But posting on the internet, everything bad is happening, is you demanding that they fix a problem for you. No, they're just waiting for you to post something so they can go repeat it elsewhere. So when you post things like this, literally the only tangible effect that this can have is people look at it, see it, say, well, this guy has 1.5 million followers, so this must be true. I guess I'll just check out then. So, ostensibly, it's a bad thing that Republican voters are checked out. How is declaring to the whole world that Republican voters are checked out supposed to make Republican voters check back in? Oh no, Republican voters are checked out. Checked out Republican voter goes, oh, maybe I should check back in. No. Forget it. Young men are off the train. 2024 was completely squandered. I've polled the entire country and discovered that even otherwise likely to vote people are nowhere to be found. What is this supposed to accomplish? What's the utility in this? Oh, it's just like a statement of facts as they are on the ground. Okay, why do we need a statement of facts as they are currently on the ground? Is this supposed to, is this your way of saying, go stock up on ammo or something? How's that going to solve anything? There's no point to this. I've seen the argument be, it's because the administration is going to hear and then they're going to change things. And I mean, I don't even know where to start. Like, you seriously think that you go post a tweet and the administration's going to be like, I don't know what we were thinking. Here's all the magical based policies that we were just sitting on for whatever reason, but I guess we'll just roll them all out now. Do you know what makes Republican voters check out? When people with large audiences relentlessly post about how Republican voters are checked out. This is what makes it happen. Of the 400,000 people who, and probably more by now, but of all the people who have viewed this tweet, the vast majority of them aren't staying up to date with the blow-by-blow, everything that's happening. They're looking for people with large accounts, the large influencers, the podcasters, the commentary class. They're looking for them to keep them up to date on where things are at right now. And so if they go to their tastemakers and their tastemakers say, everything sucks, tune out and kill yourself, then they're going to say, oh, okay, well, I guess everything sucks and I need to tune out and kill myself. And by the way, you should not do that. And so then the people with the audiences say, it turns out I've listened to everyone around me and they all say that everything sucks and we should tune out and kill ourselves. Yeah, when you spend months saying the same thing over and over again to the people who listen to you, they reflect it back to you. That's how it works. So you can choose to say whatever you want to say. Thank you, Emperor Atreides. You can choose. You can go out of your way to say whatever you want. And guess what? The people who listen to you will begin reflecting that back to you. So everyone agrees not enough has been done. Everyone agrees. I don't think there's a single person that says, yep, all good, let's stop here. There's not a single person who believes that. Everyone believes that we need more. The way to get more is continuity of government. The way you get continuity of government is because people turn out and vote for continuity of government. So if you are capable of following a chain of logic here, it means that if you engage in a depressive effect on people turning out to vote, then they don't turn out to vote, we don't get continuity of government, and we don't get more. We don't need people updating us on the facts. And every single one of us is on the ground. There's no value in updating. Hey, by the way, everyone, I looked around and it all sucks. Thank you, town crier. You suck at your job. Matt Walsh. I'm not impressed with these hearings where Republicans trape some corrupt scumbag out and yell at him for 3 hours. Yeah, he's a corrupt scumbag. I agree. So why isn't he under arrest? Why isn't he facing any real consequences? Why aren't you actually doing anything? A lot of people saying he was pardoned. I don't think that was a legitimate pardon at all. Do you? This is why we put Republicans in power. Go challenge it. Go do something. Well, I don't think it was legitimate. Yeah, unfortunately, what you think about it doesn't matter. Waiter, there's something wrong with my food. It was just a little bit too hot. Can you go make it for me again? Like, who the fuck are you? What Bernie Moreno said, who the fuck do you think you are? Derek from Suitable Politics says 2 things. First, a political commentator with such naked resentment of politics is just absurd to me. Political theater matters. What people think matters. That you agree already isn't the point. It's not about you. Stop engaging with this stuff on such a narcissistic level. You want the world to validate your viewpoint with concrete action, rather than doing as the Politico does and working until your viewpoint is accepted reality. As long as a single person out there believes Fauci was righteous, the job isn't finished. The real reason the GOP is so bad at politics is that so much of it, to include its voter base, rejects politics, which is odd, because politics has existed for as long as the civilization they wish to be the vanguard for. This is like just square in the target. So much of this is driven from a base level contempt for politics itself. The same spirit that motivates the libertarian to be like, well, I don't like this. It's yucky and complicated and there's like force and stuff and it's violent. And so just stop, please. Politics isn't going away. Thinking that politics needs to just cater to your whim, you should be able to just like open up an app and make a demand and have your every whim just magically catered to, and then politics just goes away and we don't have to that's the yucky stuff's off our hands now. You're a woman. You're a man masquerading as a woman. You're a troon, literally. Politics is the men's domain. And if you have contempt for politics, you've got issues with your own masculinity. It's never going away. We're never going to hit that magical point at the end of the movie where everyone just lives happily ever after. We're going to be having all of these exact same conversations decades from now. They'll have different particulars, but the overall structure is going to be exactly the same. This is part of being a human being. Politics has existed for as long as the civilization they wish to be the vanguard for. And that's at the root of all of this. Like, having contempt for the politics itself is having contempt for the civilization, because the politics is emergent from the civilization. And if you don't like the way it looks, you're looking in a mirror. Leave the post-political fantasies to the inane revolutionaries. Second, zooming in. The only quasi-plausible legal basis upon which to challenge that pardon is Trump's autopin theory, which will just never win in any court, not only because too many judges are libs, but also because there's a burden of proof required that Biden had no conscious intent to pardon Fauci. If we can even suspect that Biden had the conscious intent to pardon Fauci, that theory fails, because POTUS's ability to do that is absolute, which is why we need politics and to manipulate perceptions. The demand, well, just do something. This is looking for hollow performative action. This is demanding that the administration stop doing things that are substantive and just engage in performative theatrics. These guys literally have their pants on their head. What Bernie Moreno is doing is substantive. Going online and demanding that someone arrest Fauci is performative. You just want revenge. You don't want something to be better, you just want revenge. You are willing to take a worse world if you can get revenge. This is a personal issue. This is a matter of temperament. Unseen once said, very good post. Of course, it's about accepting reality and not living in a fantasy world where your wishes trump the lay of the land. Politics is about changing the lay of the land to better match your wishes. It takes a lot of work, questionable morals, and accepting that the perfect should not be the enemy of the good. Many GOP voters seem to want to ignore all three requirements and just get to the end game, whereas many Dem voters enjoy the entire game. This is such an important observation. The libs love this shit. That's why it's so easy for them to infiltrate all the various different institutions, even at the lower level, because they will gladly go slave away at a fucking library just so that maybe a decade from now they could get Drag Queen Story Hour scheduled at the library. But the based right-wingers who are heritage Americans, they're so based. Did you know how racist they are? Did you know that they make Hitler jokes? That's how based they are. They don't have the attention span or the depth of thought to actually engage in the political process competently. They just want to be able to like bang on the table and like yell things and have the ether spontaneously present based world to them. These GOP voters are the ones who loudly shout that there is no plan. They instead push insane doom and panic as they're not immediately rewarded with a victory. You can't win unless you play the game, as distasteful as that may be at times. Thankfully, Trump plays the game better than most. Now, let me find this here that I'd accidentally left out of order. How about a little keynote break from the White House? Silence your cell phones. Sit back. Welcome to the Golden Age.
We come to this place for MAGA to fight, 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 and win, win, win. Because we need that, all of us. The indescribable feeling we get when we hear the national anthem. And stand together, stronger than ever before. Under this administration, we're going somewhere we've never been. We aren't just watching history, we're making it. Rebuilding our country better than ever. A country where we don't do heartbreak, we do victory. An America that is safer, more secure, more prosperous. And any setbacks that stand in our way simply makes the comeback that much sweeter. Welcome to the Golden Age.
Why do you think that they're making all these videos? Why do you think all the different social media accounts for the administration have been doing this since the very beginning? Since Trump was reelected, we've documented all sorts of stuff of DHS accounts and the White House and all these different accounts making hype edits, this sort of thing. Like somebody was paid to sit down and produce all of this so that they could post it. Jeff Accordion says, because there is no such thing as fiction. That, I didn't know exactly what answer I was looking for, but that's the one. I like that one. We must propaganda ourselves. The reason that they're producing these sorts of things is because they are signaling and casting a vision of the future that they are working to produce. They understand the power of human belief. They understand that the more that you inundate people's minds with this sort of thing, the more people begin to live in that world. And the more people begin to believe that we live in a golden age, the more golden the age will become. One of the raped right guys was posting about, and tagging me in it, about Norman Vincent Peale. Trump's Norman Vincent Peale, but like, not everybody else is that word. This is gay, new atheist horse shit. The more that people believe something is true, the more true it becomes. If people aren't buying in, buy in harder. Human beings are really very simple creatures. They're fundamentally mimetic. They desire things because they see other people desiring them. And you can actually control your desires. You can point your desires at a particular thing. And if you're someone who has an audience, someone who influences a lot of people, then you pointing your desire at a thing, you beginning to manifest that, will cause them to yearn after it. This isn't something you choose to do or choose not to do. You can, like, it's going to happen regardless. My biggest beef is not with the little guys, the guys who have been bludgeoned with demoralization porn for so long, that they look at something as inspiring and wholesome and inoffensive as this, and feel the urge to start squealing about Jews or something. They feel the urge to just post fake news on the internet. I actually feel sorry for them, because their tastemakers have failed them. The people that they listen to either form their own thoughts or just like take the temperature of the zeitgeist and try to orient themselves within it. Their tastemakers have failed them by trying to manufacture a false zeitgeist for whatever reason. And frankly, it doesn't really matter to me whether it's because they truly believe it or because they're being paid by some sort of foreign operatives or whatever. I think all of the above are true at some level, and going through and trying to parse it all out is not something I'm interested in. Somebody else can go do that. I beg of you, right-wing, online right personalities with audiences, stop acting like a bunch of impotent queers. Stop engaging with politics like you're at a restaurant and you're just like placing an order. Make an active choice to not promote and consume demoralizing content. It doesn't matter how true it is. People hide behind this. They're like, oh, well, it's true. Or are you just like uncomfortable with like what the facts are, bro? You're literally Ben Shapiro. You're just aping Ben Shapiro. Owning with facts and logic. There is no such thing as fiction. We will determine what's true. We will create this world. The only question is how long it takes people to get on board and realize that you can just do things. You don't need to wait until everyone else is on board. You don't need to worry about someone like accusing you of being a plan truster or something. You could just do things. It would be for the best if they all got timeouts from Twitter again. Seriously. Yeah, I fully endorse Twitter suspensions for excessive dooming. Completely. You are the people who are constantly doom posting about this. Just writing these pithy little tweets that just say, hey, this is your daily update that everything sucks and is getting worse. You are actively poisoning the information environment. You are engaged in chemical warfare against the people who consume your content. You are a traitor to your own people. They are crying out to be remoralized. And instead of taking that on and doing it yourself, you're just demanding that the elected officials or whatever do something and then constantly move the goalposts around so that that's never good enough. So you always can demand more. You never have to provide or contribute anything else. And then you just get to sit on your high horse and morally preen the whole time. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. These guys have the government they deserve. They have earned every last little bit of suffering they're experiencing, and they're going to keep earning it until they decide to change course. One of my, just such a perfect saying, impotence signaling. They are signaling their own impotence, signaling their own inability to cope with the world around them, and cloaking it in, well, I'm just like naming the facts as they are. I'm just like providing like a battleground update or something. No, you're not. You're disgruntled and you want people to be disgruntled with you. You don't have control over your own emotions. And you masquerade, you cover it up with this new atheist bullshit of like, we just need to like talk about the exact facts about things. And constantly dwell on how overwhelming the odds are. You're literally living through the lifetime of the most perfect human manifestation of the odds don't matter. Never tell me the odds. We're going to win because I say so. Do you know how we win? By winning. Do you know how we don't win? By losing. There is no lose until we win. There is just winning. And every little win counts. You're fucking starving for wins. You don't get to be choosy here. Like some guy in the desert. Someone walks up to him and he's like parched, lips cracked and bleeding. Oh, here. I've got water for you. Oh, is that a Dasani? Andrew Colvett says, just spoke to a source at DHS. A new report on deportations for the last 12 months just dropped, which includes all deportation flights, commercial plus government planes. Total alien forced departures of 1,461,529. The last 7-day average of forced removals, 4,291 a day, believed to be a new all-time high. This does not include self-deportations. 4,300 a day. This is one of the most monumental logistics feats ever accomplished. We have an administration that has pulled together, has flogged an obstinate Congress into funding the mass deport. People talk about like, oh, Trump couldn't even get the wall built in his first term. There's something like $180 billion that has been committed by Congress specifically to mass deportations, including building the wall. Yes, Lady Milk, it's insane what Trump has accomplished up against the entire Leviathan. And not a single one of these motherfuckers does anything except post online about how it's not good enough. U.S. student visas to Chinese and Indian nationals have declined precipitously, according to a report by the Center for Immigration Studies. According to the CIS, student visas issued to Indian nationals in 2025 declined by 62% compared to 2024. Visas issued to Chinese nationals declined by 34% during the same period. The decline in Indian student visas has also driven a decline in Indians working under OPT authorization. The CIS notes that the reduced number of student visas being issued to foreign nationals, quote, will greatly benefit American students and our national security. Conscript panicins into ICE. So true. So true. Give them a fucking cot and some dry bread and water. And make them deport these people themselves. So they can understand just what a fucking gigantic aircraft carrier is being turned around right now while it's being expanded. The age of commentary is behind us. We don't need more critics. We need more people who are in the arena. We have an overabundance of influencers trying to have the most unique take ever. Oh, I'm not subject to groupthink. I'm very smart. Do you know what normalizes this? Talking about it. You can talk about it and say it's a good thing and also say we need more at the same time. Surprise, surprise. These are very good things that are happening. Slutty Milk, just before I went live, Slutty Milk posted in the King Pill Discord an appeal to pragmatism link. For more than a year, the Trump admin has maintained the lowest refugee levels in U.S. history. 99.9% of the refugees led in by Trump have been white South Africans escaping anti-white race hatred, while over 100,000 third world refugees have been blocked. And he said, still kinda in disbelief that our official refugee policy is rescue white South Africans from race communism. Not doing anything except for rescuing white South Africans from race communism. ICE made roughly 51,000 arrests in July, a new monthly record. And isn't it just so surprising that there was a big hiring push after getting all of the funding, a big hiring push that projected that the first half of 2026 would be when all of these newly hired agents hit the streets. And what do you know? Suddenly we're setting monthly records. Week after week after, or month after month after month. Producer Blake, Patriot, says, if you think deportation numbers are too low, despite ICE breaking records every month, due to the sheer number of illegals that Democrats let into our country, shouldn't you be spending every waking moment making sure that Democrats never win again so deportations continue? Isn't this the most obvious conclusion ever? What's the secret to getting so smart that you can't connect these two simple dots? Does Tucker Carlson have a promo code? I need to be that smart. Wouldn't that be more conducive to your purported goals than bitching, whining, blackpilling, and serving as a demoralization agent on behalf of Democrats by discouraging other conservatives from voting altogether? Trump isn't doing enough. Democrats are just going to get back in office and let in a bajillion more illegals. Yeah, they will, if we let that happen. Are you going to let that happen? It doesn't matter what the actual polls say. If every single one of these whiny faggots committed themselves, honestly, this should have started a year ago, a year and a half ago, committed themselves to just publicly declaring every single day that our victory in the midterms is inevitable. There's nothing that stands in the way of it. It's a foregone conclusion. And then you just repeat that every single day and talk about all the reasons why that's the case. It will become the case. I am one little guy with one little channel, and I've spent the last 2 years saying this in as many ways as I possibly can. We can literally create our own reality. The crystal chicks aren't wrong about everything. We can just create this reality. These are very simple dots to connect. If all the big influencers all post, big, small, medium size, if they constantly talk about how, oh, it's lost, it's over, there's no way, the battle is too difficult, we can't push this boulder up the hill any longer, it's just too much for us. You are going to will that into reality. That's honestly the single biggest hurdle right now. is the total lack of political will among all the people who identify themselves with how based and edgy and contrarian they are. No, the administration doesn't have superpowers. Yes, they have all sorts of institutional hurdles in front of them. Why construct more? And a couple truths here from Captive Dreamer. He says, hate to say it, but it's becoming increasingly clear that talking about Israel is now firmly in safe, edgy territory. Not only will it not get you in trouble, but will actually cultivate you a large audience all across the political and demographic spectrum. You know what's very funny? Please do tip your streamer, folks. Tips.kingpill.com. I'm wrapping up here in just a moment. And we're not even halfway there. Mrs. Kingpill is going to start getting agitated. Tips.kingpill.com. Please do support the cause. This last week, I was added to a Discord that is, it is soccer related and has a bunch of Southern California libs in it. And the premise of this Discord, it's like mostly
Welcome
a friend.
to the suck, homos.
Thank you, Emperor Atreides. Chimp Choker. The choker of chimps. A patriot. A
shekel for a good guy.
These are California libs, basically. But the premise of this was fans of the soccer team who also want to be able to talk about politics that the main Discord communities aren't the right venue for. And virtually every single one of these guys would be shocked and horrified if they stumbled into the Kingpill Discord. But you know what unites all of them? The belief that Israel is a great villain. Virtually, the politics channel is everything orbiting around the matter of Israel. Some of these guys are basically communists. Southern California communists. Mamdani fans. And they believe that American politics revolves around Israel. They think that Trump is a stooge of Israel. Being willing to name the Jew or talk about the Jews doesn't make you special. You're not providing any sort of unique, interesting insight. You don't have the skeleton key that unlocks all of the codes. You're just like a run-of-the-mill communist. Captain Dreamer says the utility and power of the dissident right/alt-right was that they were willing to broach subjects that needed to be discussed, while the mainstream GOP and right avoided them out of fear of the left. Topics about race, foreign influence, replacement migration, etc. Now that Trump and MAGA have completely supplanted them, they become bitter and resentful. Trump is talking about white genocide in South Africa, ending TPS for Haitians, and cracking down on anti-white DEI policies. Politically, that sphere has won more than most. Yet because most of them are cultural rubes and profoundly uninteresting people, they instead fell back into a pattern of resentful bickering, petty squabbling, and purity spiraling. When all you have is politics, and then you get outflanked by some MAGA mom from rural Arkansas, where do you go? Cry about Israel? Hassan Piker does, and better than you. None of them read anymore. Nobody is doing anything interesting culturally outside of a few groups around BAP or a few small locked accounts. Or at beta.ewbsx.com. But, we're still working our way up. The moment came and went. Best to just remember what was good about it and kick all these resentful freaks to the side. You have to have a certain personality type to have been talking about anti-white hate in America years ago. I know because I was doing that. You have to either not care about social approval or be so convinced about the truth that you can't do otherwise. Here I stand, etc. So, in order to talk about these off-limits things, you either had to not care that you would get in trouble for talking about the off-limits things, Or you had to just believe because you're like just like socially out of alignment with people in general and you don't really care. You're autistic. Or you're just so completely convinced of it, you feel like this is something that this is a matter that has to be raised. It has to be talked about. I'm willing to take the slings and arrows. The problem is that also attracts antisocial personality types for who the goal is simply social ostracism or anger or resentment. It almost seems like it's psychosexual. Like people who get off on being socially ostracized. People who like, it gives them a little dopamine shot when they can engage in some kind of antisocial behavior. And so it's like, okay, well, what are the things that are antisocial? Saying nigger online? Okay, I'm going to do that. Ooh. That's what derailed this stuff to begin with, and sane and intelligent guys found a way to move forward without making their entire identity about offending normal people. And we must hear the John Tent. We must hear what great patriot John Q. Doyle has to say about this. Of course, he says this.
Yes, hello, it's me, a black guy.
And he also says this.
The only acceptable political theory is complete undying loyalty to Donald Trump.
And then, thanks to Cato the Elder, Carthage hater here, we also get to see that he says this.
And it's the same thing with people who identify as dissidents or outsiders. A lot of them just have a disposition towards being the outsider or being contrarian or edgy, and it makes them very difficult to work with, we'll say. It's difficult for them to do what's necessary to achieve victories because they wear themselves out purity testing or fighting or never wanting to actually take control because they actually prefer to be the outsider. It's something that's very key in how you understand the world, I guess. Like when you put up that welcome sign, you put up that bat signal, you're inevitably going to attract people who are defined mostly by their attraction to, say, naughty ideas, to being edgy, to being provocative. And believe it or not, those people tend to have compounding traits about themselves, being disingenuous, disagreeable, off-putting, neurotic, things like that. Like people who are naturally attracted to ideas that are considered bad or wrong, not because they have a commitment to the truth and they realize along the way that those ideas are actually correct, but they have a commitment to being edgy and disagreeable and contrarian, and then they stumble upon the truth at some point and okay, that's cool too. Those kinds of people are going to be a cancer to anything that takes itself seriously. Because believing in what we believe in could technically be considered antisocial, since much of the public has literally been socialized to believe that everything normal is actually abnormal. And so there's like two ways you can arrive at these beliefs, because you're normal or because you're antisocial. Like you prioritize being normal and being honest, and so you arrive at the truth, or because you prioritize being antisocial, and because you're antisocial, then you also happen to end up here anyway, right? So it's a very interesting sort of ecosystem.
So true. So true, Patriot Doyle. Dave Kabobulated!
Marked safe from being a homosexual.
Oh, yeah. No kidding. You are. You are safe. It was a close one. It was a very close one. Apparently, there's a bunch of homosexuals who have been lurking in the chat here today. So we'll have to say some Patriot prayers for them. We don't want them to remain that way. The solution is very simple. You just go to tips.kingpill.com and you make a small contribution to the cause, and suddenly you're no longer a homosexual. But, you know, some people just don't want to take the easy way out. They have to do everything the hard way. It's a fascinating phenomenon, the way that, you know, there's people who wind up at the truth because they're just following their nose for being obstinate and, you know, so it's like a blind squirrel finds a nut. They, the broken clock is right twice a day. They're identified with their obstinacy, and it's like they see it as a form of status. Like, I'm not like the goyim, I'm not like the plebs. You know, if something's popular, that means that it's gross and yucky. It's vulgar, and I'm not vulgar like them are. I have the secret knowledge. I've tapped into the gnosis. I have the secret knowledge, and the secret knowledge obligates me to be a fucking faggot everywhere. These people are hangers-on to the truth. And they pervert the truth and try to weaponize it to suit their own, I don't know, psychosexual desire to be a contrarian. They hide behind the truth. I'm just saying what's true, bro. Did you get your feelings hurt? No, I'm just interested in winning. And I'm watching us win. We're winning more than I've ever experienced in my life. The opportunities for great patriot accomplishments are springing up all around us. I'm surrounded by people who are popping babies out right and left. Shout out to Kyle Carroll, great patriot from the King Pill Discord, longtime supporter of the show, for the birth of his young patriot. If you just tune into the timeline or the YouTube circuit, where all these guys who identified, I remember in the shortly before or after the election, the thought occurred to me, the way I kind of conceptualized it was, there was this rallying point for all of the disparate sort of psychological inclinations that led people to wind up on the so-called right. And there was this one single door. Like, we needed to get Trump reelected. So all of us gathered together and just leaned into this door, leaned up against this locked door, just pressing against it for all we were worth. And it reached a critical mass where suddenly the hinges popped off and we all went tumbling through the door, crashed into the next room. And then suddenly, living dead.
Alkaline Trio is not gay and I'm a heterosexual.
The cyberbully blessed us with a little Alkaline Trio in the pre-show. And you know what? They're a little gay. They're a little gay. But, you know, we get to appreciate some gay guys every so often as a treat. This is part of living in Trump's golden age. Trump's America. In Trump's America, we get to appreciate a little bit of gay guy content every so often. But we go crashing through the door and land in like this lobby where we're Scott Besson, yeah. Where suddenly it was like, okay, we could go any direction here. And all of that energy that got consolidated together as we pressed into this door. Column rush!
I read Dusty McCulfuck's political theory that can't possibly work in our modern world, and it says Trump is doing it all wrong. Tune in as we bluffate about it for 4 hours.
Dusty McCulfuck's political theory. Thank you. Thank you, Column Rush.
Boner alert.
And I predicted at the time that this is going to happen. We're going to find ourselves in this place where suddenly it's like you just got everyone kind of scatters, and that energy all dissipates. And then we spent the next several months of everybody scattering and dissipating the energy, and then turning around and being like, "Hey, where did all the energy go? You have the energy. You're wasting it. You're pouring it into something that's not just non-productive, it's counterproductive." There is no line to connect between bitch about something on the internet and it happens. Stuff's happening off the internet now. And periodically we're going to get these moments where all of that energy needs to coalesce again around one thing and we can blast through another door. We call it an election. And there's one of two ways that it can go. This is just how the elections work. So it's your patriot duty to consolidate all of that energy again and everyone push in the same direction at the same time. I've said it before. If you hate the Republican Party, you are obligated to vote for them. That's the last thing that they want. They are desperately hoping. All of those Republican congressmen that you hate are desperately hoping that you will check out, that you won't vote, that you won't participate, that you'll waste all of your, you'll just waste all of your time dumping your seed onto the timeline and not doing the very simple thing, which is re-endorse Trump's mandate. Sign up for another 2 years. You know how relieved, who's an example here? Bill Cassidy, John Thune. Do you know how relieved these guys will be? Tom Tillis. Do you know how relieved they will be if people don't vote for Republicans in the midterms? Their entire career has been built off the back of strategically losing elections so they can monetize outer party status. And you hate them so much that you are willing to collaborate in making that a reality for them. Because you're the real true politics understanders. It's very simple. Get up every day, proclaim our victory, and take concrete steps to make that victory a reality. Leave your diary posts for the diary. If you're feeling sad, go write it down. Go for a walk. Don't vomit it on the timeline. And then you need to get in proximity to patriots. ChudConEvent.com. Shameless self-promotion. Go to ChudConEvent.com. Sign up to get in proximity to patriots. Labor Day weekend. When the Labians gather. And if you can't make it, then sponsor a poor chud who can. We have people who have signed up requesting sponsorships. There is a waiting list for poor young chuds. So if you can't make it, then just donate to the cause. Sponsor a poor young chud. Go to chudconevent.com, scroll down to the sponsor a chud button, and ensure that some poor bastard can go spend a weekend rolling around in the woods with Slutty Milk. This is guess who has their ChudCon ticket. Be like Slutty Milk. Buy a ChudCon ticket for yourself or some other poor bastard and ensure that you or him gets to go spend some time in proximity to patriots. And now I need to bounce because it's time to go get lunch with the family and do a little send-off for Gaga. So, thank you guys for all of your contributions today in the chat and in the tip jar. Go join the King Pill Discord, kingpilled.com. Follow me on X at kingpilled. Follow the Telegram channel, t.me/kingpilled, so you know when I'm going live. And go to beta.ewbsx.com and go experience the new site as we continue to build it for your entertainment. Get yourself some Patriot tunes in the morning. Chat with some fine, clever fellows. Build up your Patriot points. Increase your power levels through the XP generator. Beta.ewbsx.com. And if you are a King Pilled Discord member already, or if you join the King Pilled Discord, then just shoot me a message and let me know, and we will give you special premiere access to the new app as a little perk for being part of the King Pill Discord. Once again, that's kingpill.com for the Discord, beta.ewbsx.com for the new EWBSX platform, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. For now, I leave you with Hulk.
When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next President of the United States, enough was enough, and I said,